All right, so just don't move too much. All right, if you move, it makes so much sound.
What does that mean? Like I'm not
Just
moving.
don't move. Just don't move. Okay, listen. The reason why I want to talk to you. Most of you guys know my friend Ryan here, Ryan Ratchets. He comes to the store for a lot of the events and ZappCon and Free Comic Day. He lurks around the store, bothers the customers.
I dare say that I'm like the best part of the events, but you know. That's subjective, I guess.
Yeah, I guess for people who can like leave and get away from you, as opposed to the ones that are stuck with you.
Oh, Corry.
I know you frequent the movies a lot more than I do. I like a movie, and I'll just watch the same movie a few times before I try something new. I ignore most movies that people tell me to go see because if the trailer looks uninteresting to me, I just don't care. You pretty much will watch anything.
I do go to the movies quite often. I do have a line.
My question for you though is: there's been times, more often than it should, that I've wanted to have you ever wanted to walk out of a movie? I'm not talking about on TV where you can just change the channel. Where you actually paid, you sat down, you're watching it with someone or whatever, and you actually want to leave.
There's been quite a few movies that I've wanted to leave. I don't know if I ever did. I'll have to remember as we're talking.
I know you don't have to actually do it, but because sometimes you can't. A lot of times you're with someone. There's been some instances where I wanted to leave a movie. I couldn't because I was either with a bunch of people or whatever. I just couldn't leave. But is there a list of movies you're like, my God, I wish I walked out of that?
So actually, very recently, I went to a movie. And I can feign interest. When somebody says, hey, I was thinking about going to see Fast and the Furious Part 7, do you want to go? I can be like, yeah, maybe.
See, I can't do that.
And I've even done it if it's somebody who I kind of want to just hang out with, who I haven't hung out with for a while. My friend Tyler was a big Chronicles of Riddick fan.
Yeah, no, thank you.
And when Vin Diesel I think he for that final Riddick movie, he paid for it. He produced it.
Okay.
To get it released, and I remember the kid's line too. He's like, "Oh, the new Riddick's movie's coming out. You want to go see that?" And I was thinking in my head, no, I have absolutely zero interest in that movie. But I was like, I don't know if anybody else could ever play that role. And he goes, "Yeah, I don't know if Vin Diesel is Riddick or if Riddick is Vin Diesel." And I'm like, what the hell is that?
Wait a minute. This person actually said this to you?
He said that to me.
To your face or on the phone or?
Oh no, person. We were talking at the break room.
You didn't just get up and leave? Your break wasn't over?
Oh man. So we went to go see that movie, and I sat through, and him and his brother the whole time were just like, "Oh my god, that was awesome." And I just kept looking at it. It's very CGI kind of action stuff. So any kind of action scene where he's sliding under everything, it looks very fake. Was not a fan, but I sat through that thing.
Yeah, see the movie that I had the Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull. Is that what it was?
That was tough to see.
That was really hard to sit through, especially when he came out of the refrigerator. And this
really, you so from the beginning, because I was able to give the benefit of the doubt at that point.
That was bad, but then when they were, the worst part is when they're in the woods and the machines are cutting the path. They're just cutting this path of all these trees down, and then within moments there was a perfectly paved road there. They weren't taking roots up or grinding anything. They were just cutting down the trees at the stumps, and these trucks were just driving through. And then the ants, when they made that.
Yep.
That was awful.
The ants part was bad, and the part where it was almost done was Shia LaBeouf, whatever his name is there, going through the air with the monkeys, swinging through the air with the monkeys. And it was just, we're doing it. I was so disappointed in that movie.
Yeah, I wanted to see it so bad. The other one, and it's not a knock on you, I know how much you love the Hulk, was the first Hulk movie. That was really hard to sit through. If I wasn't with a group of people, I would have left.
So I was with a group of people. We all sat there, and it was funny because going in, everybody was like high testosterone of like, oh man, the Hulk, this is going to be amazing. And we're talking about Ang Lee, and it's like, yeah, he's going to make it like a substance kind of movie. Like, it's not just going to be like, you know, the like, you know, popcorn flick. And
it was awful.
After we left the theater, I could just remember everybody just sitting there quiet. Nobody knew what to say. It's like we went through a dramatic event.
It wasn't good. It wasn't good. And you know what's funny is this has happened recently because I haven't gone to the movies in a while. We have the 2 kids, and now when you have to go to the movies, I got to pay a babysitter. And movies aren't cheap now, especially if you really want to see it like in a nice theater. You got to figure it's about $25 a person. So you got to figure if my wife and myself want to go to the movies, that's $50 just to go, and $50 to eat. So it's $100 just to go. But then I got to pay a babysitter like $50, whatever, to watch my kids. So you got to figure that's $150 right there just to go see a movie. So you got to make sure it's worth it. So, you know, Aquaman was fun. I didn't mind it. It was fun. I mean, but it was an event. It was a spectacle. It looked good. But everybody who came into the shop said you need to go see Bumblebee. You're gonna love this movie. You're gonna love this movie. I know you like the first Transformers. You're gonna love Bumblebee. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. Go see it. You have to see it. This movie's made for you guys, especially your generation. And I'm like, you know what? Fine. So me and Allie go and see it at a theater that just redid all the seats where you can like recline in them. So it was very comfortable watching it. And halfway through it, I am like, this is awful. Why am I doing this? And I'm like, well, at least she's enjoying it. And I looked over to her, and she says to me, how much longer is this going on? Because I'm done. And I was like, oh, no. And she just kept thinking, I can't believe we spent all this money to see Bumblebee. And it was, I sincerely mean this, Herbie Fully Loaded with Lindsay Lohan was much better than Bumblebee.
I think you said one of the cool things about Bumblebee, like the only thing you enjoyed was the fact that they transformed the way they did when you were.
No, but it was only on Cybertron because then when they come to, you know, it's funny. They're on Cybertron at the beginning, right? And they show off all the Transformers that we had and we grew up with, and then all of a sudden Bumblebee comes to Earth, and it's like, okay, all you guys wait here. We're gonna send 2 Transformers that look just like Michael Bay Transformers down to Earth, and that's where you're gonna see the whole movie. And here's John Cena ruining the whole thing. And I have not. John Cena is one of the nicest men on this planet. But get him out of my movie. And then the ending scene, which was really nice with Bumblebee and Prime, I could have just watched it on YouTube and been done with it. But the movie itself, I couldn't stand. I just couldn't do it. And another movie that I had the same feeling for, and I'm going to get roasted from everybody coming in the store and from you, is Zombieland. I could not stand that movie. I hated that movie so much.
That movie. That was a great movie.
No, Zombieland. I'm trying to think of what else I almost like walked out of. Hulk, obviously, and Indiana Jones. There has to be more, but the Bumblebee recently, it like hurt. I'm like, I can't believe I just literally paid all this money to see this, and it was so bad. It was so bad. Everybody's like, you need to see this. This is meant for you. And I'm like, what? No, it's not. You don't even know me.
You don't know me at all.
I don't like this movie.
Let me just tell you. So recently I had become friends with somebody who I hadn't seen in years. And, we hadn't been that close of friends before. And now it was like, oh, we should go to the movies and stuff. And I'm like, yeah. And I remember I had seen most of everything that had been out at the time. And he goes, oh, the new movie with the girl who's, like, kicking ass. And I was like, do you mean, like, Peppermint? And he's like, yeah.
What's Peppermint?
That's that Jennifer Garner movie where
the mom,
like, kills her family, and then she goes and kills everybody.
And when did this movie come out?
About a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago.
What? Wait a minute, Jennifer Garner is in an action movie 2 years ago?
Yeah, and it was so bad. And I'm looking over, and this kid is loving every second of it. And it's so hard, because we walk out, and he goes, now that was like a comic book movie. Like, that was so good. Like, oh, man, and the action. And I'm just like, again, I don't want to insult my friend who's just had this, like, the time of his life. So, just recently, did you ever see that movie, the Happy Death Day movie?
No, I don't even know what these are.
Happy Death Day is, I believe it's a Bloomberg film. I could be wrong, but it's that from that production company that just puts out those PG-13 horror movies. They're not very good, but sometimes you get the diamond in the rough. Happy Death Day was the girl who kept on getting killed, but then would wake up at the same. It's like Groundhog's Day.
Okay.
She kept waking up every time she got killed, and so she could try to figure out who the killer was. And it was a very stupid but enjoyable film.
Listen, I can sit. So some bad movies that I enjoy. I'll give you that.
Right.
Like sometimes I know they're bad, but I don't care.
Happy Death Day might have been one of them.
Like if Hot Chick comes on, I will watch that. So I love that movie. You ever seen Hot Chick? It's not good, but I love every second of it. You ever seen Hot Chick?
I have not seen that one with the Rob Schneider.
I laugh so hard, and the movie is so bad, but I don't care.
Okay, I'm going to come back to that in a second, but just so recently, he contacts me on Valentine's Day of all days, and he says, "Hey, I really feel like going to the movies tonight. You want to go? Happy Death Day 2 is out," and I'm like, I have no interest in that movie. And then in all caps, he texts me, "What, you didn't like the first?" Like it would have been a travesty. And I'm going no, it's just not really, I've seen the previews. It's really something I'm not interested in seeing at all. And then later on, I was trying to be nice. The next day, I'm like, "Oh, did you end up going?" "Yeah, I did. You really missed out," is what he wrote to me.
You really missed out. What, on good popcorn or something? What did you miss out on? You know what I love is as I see a trailer for something, and I'm like, yeah, that doesn't look good. And somebody's like, "Oh, I saw it. It's really, really good." I'm like, "Listen, I couldn't sit through the trailer for it." They're like, "Yeah, no, I know, but you like the movie." I'm like, "No, you don't understand. I could not sit the trailer. I wanted it to end." Why would that? It's like saying I don't. It's like someone's cooking food in the kitchen. "Man, that smells disgusting." "Oh, wait until you have it." Well, it smells disgusting. I'm not waiting for it. It doesn't.
And they'll say a scene from the trailer. You're like, "Oh my god, remember with this joke?" And you were like, "That was the worst part of it." But that's what sold them on the movie. And
yeah.
You're like, what?
Another movie I almost walked out on, and it had nothing to do with the movie because it's one of my favorite movies of all time. I had to do with the company. Probably like 10 or so years ago, a movie called Tropic Thunder hit the big screen. And
Do you remember we went to go see that together?
Yeah, I live in New Jersey now. I think I was in New York at the time. And I was visiting. I went back to Massachusetts visiting my parents and some friends, and you happened to be around. So hey, I want to see this movie. So I went with you, and now
that movie we did not want to walk out of.
That movie was fantastic. I love that movie, but I can't watch that movie in the house because I watched it so much when it first came out on DVD or whatever. Allie said, "Listen, you can't put this on. I can't have you watch because you won't stop watching this movie. It's always on." I said, "I just love this movie so much. I can't help it. I love that movie." But anyways, I saw her with you, and I don't know why this happened. I was sitting there. I don't remember the scene. I just remember watching the movie, and I don't know why, but I looked at you for some odd reason, and you looked right at me, and
we just started making out.
No. I looked at you. I don't know why. Maybe because the thing was really funny. I want to see how you reacted to it. I don't know why I looked at you, but you looked right at me, whatever, and we both laughed. Kind of like when you're trying to hold your laugh in. We both laughed. But the problem with that was your entire mouth, cheeks, and everything was full of water. So when you laughed, you literally spit out all this disgusting warm water that came out of your mouth and went all over my face. Okay, and I am still horrified by it. But the worst part was you laughed. It was like, "Oh my god!" And then you turned and you looked and you kept watching the movie like nothing happened.
Okay, so
I wanted to peel the skin off my face.
I think the scene was where Ben Stiller's going to save the kids, right? And then he's just like, I got you, right? And the next scene is him getting stabbed in the head by the kids.
Oh, and he's like, blow the bridge, yeah.
Yeah, so it was so awesome and funny. And then you looked at me, and I could see you move to, like, look at me from the side, like, the peripheral. I turned, and you looked at me with that, like, just look. You were like you were ready to laugh. And I had just taken a sip of water, so sure enough, when I laughed, I spit water everywhere. And then my thought, like, I see you, like, horrible, you recoiled. You were just, like, you, like, looked around, like, what just happened? And now what do I do? In my thought, I'm going, well, I have nothing to help here, so I might as well just keep on watching the movie.
Which is what you did, by the way.
I'll apologize later if he's still upset.
And that shows you how good that movie was, because I didn't get up. I should have. I should have left.
Oh my god! But actually, so believe it or not, I regret allowing somebody to talk me out of walking out of a movie, because you ever see that movie Nobody's Fool with Paul Newman?
No.
It was released in like 94, 95, I think. I was dating this girl, and it was Paul Newman's first like starring role in almost a decade. Like, he hadn't starred in a movie. He was a supporting, but he hadn't carried a movie in so long, and this was his first big like triumphant return. And I was such a fan of Cool Hand Luke that I wanted to go see this movie. So we went in, sat down, and keep in mind, I was 19 years old. The girl I was with was 17, 18. We're sitting there, and she looks over and goes, we're the only ones under 60 in this theater.
Under 60.
And I'm looking around, and it's like, sure enough, I mean, the theater is filled with, not just adults, but like adults who look like they have their, like, stuff together kind of adults. You're just like, oh man, that guy actually brushed his hair when he came out. Like, okay. So I look at her and I'm like, do you want to leave? And she says, yes. I said, all right, we'll go to another movie. And we leave. And I remember we broke up around that October. And then the movie came out on demand and stuff. And I watched it. And it's easily one of my favorite movies. It is such a brilliant movie, and I'm so mad she robbed me of that experience of being able to watch it.
I had that same experience, but I stayed when Schindler's List came out. Me and my girlfriend at the time went to go see it, and we were the only people in there under like 50. It was awkward at first, but once the movie started, it didn't matter who was in the theater.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Good thing you got rid of her.
I should have kept my foot. At that time, I was very whipped. I think she was my first girlfriend, like my first real girlfriend.
Either way, I would have been like, yeah, no, I'm staying here. What movie did you end up seeing? Peppermint?
Oh, man.
Speaking of it, which called Daredevil. I almost walked out of Daredevil. That movie was worse than the Hulk.
And you know what's funny is that they keep talking about, like, I have the Blu-ray of Daredevil. It came in like a 3-pack. So I bought the Marvel movies. It was like one of my first Blu-ray purchases, and they were like, "This is the extended cut, the one with the bar brawl scene." And so I watched it, and I'm thinking, well, A, that didn't save the movie, and B, I don't know what everybody's talking about. Like, yeah, it was a little more violent than the rest of the movie, which I don't know. I guess that's what made people like it. It didn't make the movie better.
I remember scenes from it. I saw it once, and I'll never see that movie again. I can't.
It doesn't erase the Ben Affleck, Jennifer Garner playground fight.
That was awful.
Oh my god.
Awful.
As far as it goes, though, there was a movie that I let's see, Species. Remember that movie?
Yes. Yeah.
Natasha Henstridge.
I saw the first one. It wasn't bad.
Yeah. So it was funny because...
Whatever happened to her? She was like big for a minute. What happened to her?
Yeah. They saw her act. Like, Species was her first big thing, but she didn't act in that movie. She just kind of strutted around. She didn't even really have lines until the end. But anyways, so that movie, it was funny because This is when they were still showing it on film before they turned it to digital, and sometimes film literally like split. So all of a sudden the whole screen would go white. Right? It was right at the end. They had already captured and killed like Natasha Henstridge. Everybody was like walking out of the thing, and then they start going back into the sewers, and all of a sudden you see this rat, and the rat starts to act a little funny, and then all of a sudden it split. It was like there was maybe 30 seconds of this film left, and I went, "Come on, now I have to rent it." Oh, I remember that part. Hey, speaking of like those really bad movies that you like, my guilty pleasure is Jack and Jill. You know that Adam Sandler movie where he plays the brother and the sister.
Why have I never heard of half these movies? What is that? Jack and Jill.
All right, so Jack and Jill, Adam Sandler plays the sister and the brother. And maybe it's because I have a sister that I have that kind of relationship where all we do is insult each other. It's not a good movie, and I will not defend it in any way. If somebody's like, "That's a terrible movie," I'd be like, "No, you're completely right." I can't stop watching that movie, though. And believe it or not, Al Pacino actually has a starring role in the movie where he actually falls in love with the girl version of Adam Sandler. And they're in his apartment, and like she's doing something, like pretending to golf or something. She hits his Oscar off the shelf, and it falls on the floor and breaks. And she goes, "Oh no, I'm so sorry. I'm sure you have others." And he goes, "Surprisingly, no."
Another movie I wanted to leave, and I love the first one, was Hangover 2. Hangover 2 was very bad.
Yes. Yeah,
and 1 was fantastic.
Sequels sometimes confuse me. I actually liked Hangover 3 better than I liked Hangover 2.
I didn't know there was a Hangover 3 until I was talking to someone, because Hangover 1 was on the other night, and I caught the end of it, and I haven't seen it in a long, like, years, and I forgot how funny it was, especially when they show off the camera roll, when Ed Helms pulls his tooth out and stuff.
Oh, the very end.
It's fantastic. And then I remember the second one was awful. I didn't even know they made a third one. Were they all in the third one?
The third one, they were all in, and like I said, the story, they change it up, so it's actually like an original take instead of them just doing a retread like they did with part 2. Part 2 was so bad.
It was awful.
Because they literally tried to just do the same jokes, but with like a step up. And you were like, The Hangover was already as high as I wanted to go. I don't need to go another step up with the tattoo on the face and everything. Like, yeah, it was a disaster.
It was absolutely awful. Yeah, it was bad. I can't take it.
One of the movies I think I remember now, I wanted to walk out of, Shrek 2. And
I'm not a huge fan of the Shreks. The first one I was like, okay. I don't know if I watched the other ones. I'm sure they were on at some point. I kind of half saw them, but I never understood why they were so big.
Well, Shrek 2 bothered me because I was actually in a packed theater with families, and there was like this 10-year-old kid sitting next to me. And as we're watching the movie, Pixar has this amazing ability to make family movies that are both funny and still very appropriate.
Yeah, of course.
I don't ever watch those films and feel embarrassed.
No.
Whereas DreamWorks, which is the Shrek, producers there or distributors, DreamWorks, their movies are littered with adult humor that shouldn't be in the film. And if I'm watching it with another adult, I guess I just never really noticed it as much. But there's a scene in Shrek 2 where all the guards bust Shrek and Donkey and Puss in Boots, and they throw Puss in Boots up against the wall, and they're just like, "All right, search him," and then they pull out some catnip, and Puss in Boots is like, "Oh, that's not mine." And I'm thinking like, well, you just did like a drug bust in the middle of a kid's cartoon. Like, that really bothered me. And the kid next to me is laughing, which disturbed me even more. Because either he just thought it was funny that Puss in Boots is getting, taken down by the police, or he totally got the drug reference, which, again, would disturb me even more than that.
Yeah, it might have been both. I don't know.
There's that scene, I think there's the Pinocchio scene, and again, we grew up on Looney Tunes, right, where they would pull somebody's pants down and they were wearing, women's underwear or something like that. And again, DreamWorks always has to take it like this next step. Pinocchio is being stretched to try to reach something, and as they're reaching them, they're like, well, at least you're not wearing women's underwear. And Pinocchio just stares, and they're like, are you wearing women's underwear? And then all of a sudden, the gingerbread man, he pulls the underwear up and he goes, and it's a thong! And I'm just like, again, if I was not sitting next to this kid, I'd feel like that might have been funny, but I feel really awkward right now. Yeah. Because this kid over here is cracking up, and I'm just like, I don't know if he should even know what thong underwear is.
It's weird as a parent, watching things, because there's certain things oh, it's not bad. And then, all of a sudden, I'll be watching TV and, Ridiculous will come on. I'm not paying attention. They're showing just people getting hurt, and then all of a sudden they start saying certain things, and I'm like, what? Nope. But when you're not, the kids aren't around, you don't even think of it. And then it's like music, all the time. I'm very careful with music now because I listen to Queen all the time. Jimi Hendrix, stuff that's safe, because then also my daughter Isabel was like, oh, what's your favorite band? And I'm like, I really like Nine Inch Nails, but I'm not gonna, pop that on. And I'll put on a couple safe songs. But the problem is, though, if she just says play them, their most popular songs that come on, I don't want her hearing ever. So it's one of those things where I'm like, I listened to this stuff when I was a teenager, and it just makes me. My parents didn't pay attention. I don't think they cared, but it's just I don't like this.
Well, Goonies. I don't know if you've watched Goonies with her.
No, I haven't seen Goonies in a long time. It's on every now and then. I'll catch clips of it, but I haven't actually sat down and watched it.
Well, Goonies, the beginning part. First of all, they walk into a prison, and the guy has pretended to hang himself. Which, again, I'm like, wow.
And the thing is, my grandmother took us to see that. I was probably 7, 8 years old.
Yeah. Well, then, they drive by, they're getting chased by the cops, and it goes by all the kids. And, of course, Chunk, his first, 3 or 4 lines in the movie is laden with cuss words. He's just like, oh, shit. And I'm like, okay, honey, you know that there are certain words that you hear that you're not supposed to say. And I try to lay it out like that. But I remember the first time I showed it to her, she was 6 or 7. And I was like, I can't believe that this is what we watched when we were kids, and it didn't even register.
Because you know why? We just knew, for some reason, we just knew not to do certain things or say, my mom never had to say to me, don't say that word. You just kind of knew what words not to say. It was different. I don't know why.
And it was different, and I feel that's a sensitivity of ours that we should just let go. Because, again, I think my daughter's smart enough to know this.
Yeah, or you just tell them, don't say that word. It's not a nice word.
But at the same time, you're such in this mode of I have to make sure my daughter knows and protect my daughter and make sure she understands that this word is not okay to say. And of course, I say this to you and all the people who listen here. I honestly don't care if they use a cuss word. It's my wife. I don't want to hear it from my wife later that they use this cuss word because I know she's going to be upset about it.
And the thing is, though, it's I understand protecting your child, but you gotta also you can't protect them forever. So when they get to a certain age, they don't know how to handle things. You can just say listen, don't say that. That's a word you don't use. You can't use, or you have to be an adult to use it, or whatever. And if they don't grasp that, then you gotta really teach them how it is. That's how we were. I never curse. I think even to this day, I never really curse in front of my parents. I just by default don't do it. I don't try not to. I just don't, because I curse all the time. I curse too much actually, but it's just sometimes it just shuts off. You just know. It's like when you're in school or something like that, you just don't do it. You know, if I'm talking to someone like at a store, you just don't do it. You don't do it. You don't do it in a restaurant. You know what I mean? Like if your phone rings in a restaurant, you put it on silent and you get out and you walk out into the hall and you take the phone call. The guy at the other table just answers the phone in the middle of the restaurant and just starts talking and tells you to be quiet because he's on the phone. Leave the table. That's one of my pet peeves. That's one of my biggest pet peeves. I hate that. Oh.
I think too, like it's just a lot of movies. They've changed so much, and I feel like walking out of movies more nowadays than I ever did before because I think the movies nowadays they're so flimsy as far as story wise and everything's kind of put together as like this package of hey, look at it's almost like a generic action film or it's a generic romantic comedy, and I've seen it all before because we were actually given all this original content. So when you see people now retread, I did watch the remake of Ghostbusters in the theater.
See, I love Ghostbusters. The first one, I absolutely adore that movie.
Right, absolutely.
I don't like the second one. I have no interest. You know what it is? It's kind of like one of my favorite movies of all time is Gremlins.
Yep.
I just want that. I don't want anything else. I don't like the second one. I don't want a third one. I don't want anything else. I'm fine with that one meal. I'm full. I don't want to eat anything else. Like Ghostbusters the same way.
Keep in mind though, like we were given all this original content when we were kids. So for me, the bar is set really high when they keep on producing these movies, but they keep on bringing back all the like they just keep retreading over all the stuff that we grew up on. It feels cheap, but all the stories aren't there. The Ghostbusters remake, it's not about them being females because all the females that were in there, they're very talented comedians who I actually very much enjoy in other projects. This movie was just badly written, and it was the flimsy storytelling and the flimsy, characters. The characters were so one note, and the characters didn't actually seem like real people. Whereas in the original Ghostbusters, if you watch it even to this day, they have such powerful personalities. And I mean, Egon played the straight man, but he was still one of the funniest people in that movie.
Yeah, because you know what it is too. Nowadays, you have a guy that plays that character, but they're trying too hard to make it funny. And a lot of times, funny is just you just answering a question normally, and sometimes it just comes out as being funny.
Yeah, no, and that was part of the problem with the remake was that everybody had to be the funniest person in the room. So like instead of just making a joke that everybody could laugh at, all of a sudden.
What is that? Is that a magic flute?
Somebody was texting me. Sorry. But yeah, but sure enough.
Was that from Willy Wonka?
That flute? I have no idea.
It sounded like the Willy Wonka flute.
It's in the phone, but
Which, by the way, I'm sorry. By the way, that movie was banned from my house when I was a kid because I watched it so much. My mother's like, I can't take those songs anymore. I'm sorry, you can't watch this in the house anymore. Cause I would watch it over and over and over and over again, and she's like, I can't take these songs. I can't. Cheer Up Charlie and Oompa Loompa. I can't take this anymore. I'm sorry. And she wouldn't let me watch it in the house because she's like, I can't take this. I can't take it. It's like fingernails on a chalkboard. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, hey, everybody has their line that they're not going to cross anymore.
Yeah.
All right, so hopefully we're not going to keep going. I'm going to have to text this guy back, tell him to stop texting me. But listen, the scene that killed it was the scene at the restaurant. Kristen Wiig goes in and starts yelling at everybody in the restaurant, get out of the city, and tells Andy Garcia, who plays the mayor, like, you gotta evacuate the city. And he's like, I'm not evacuating the city. She's like, you're gonna go down as the worst mayor, like worse than the mayor in Jaws. He's like, never call me the mayor from Jaws. And I'm like, this, not only is this bad overacting, like, that was the joke.
Yeah.
That now Andy Garcia is making jokes in a scene where he should be playing the straight man sitting there, letting Kristen Wiig kind of chew the scenery and make the jokes, which would have made the scene that much better. But I don't know what happened, where comedy had to be everybody making a joke at the same time and trying to top each other, rather than actually just telling a story. letting
well, you know
the
why
characters bounce off each other.
Nowadays, for some reason, and this happens with everything, they cater to the audience like the audience doesn't know, so you have to explain everything to them. Like, for example, like all these superhero movies, which I'm getting bored of, the first half of the movie is so slow because they have to tell you the origin step by step. Back in the day, when you picked up a comic book, the origin was like on one page in 9 panels. It kind of showed you what happened. The original Superman, the entire origin was in the intro. They show you as the music's playing, they show the kid come down in the field. They pick him up, they see him growing. He picks up the car. Like, you're like, okay, this kid's from another planet. He was raised here. He's super strong. There you go. You don't have to stop the movie and tell me where he came from, excuse me, what his middle name was. Like, it doesn't matter.
So I will tell you this. It's funny that you say that.
Because that's the thing. They spoon feed everything to the audience now, and it's ridiculous. Well, you can just figure out what's going on. Sometimes you don't even need to know why. It's just how it is.
It's funny you say that, too, because, like, even with comics themselves, I remember the way that I got into comics is I picked up Incredible Hulk number 343. I was entranced by the art. I could not stop looking at the art in the story I read. And the stuff that I didn't understand, I kept on reading. I got the action, I got the characters or whatever else down pretty well. Anything I didn't understand, I picked up the next issue, and you slowly start to get it. You slowly kind of, it's not like something that you're gonna get right away, but if you put in the time, it's so rewarding. And I don't think people want that instant gratification now, so they don't want to have to. It's almost like they don't want to have to think.
Well, that's the thing now. It's like, okay, I just saw this. I don't understand it. I'm going to type it on YouTube, and there's going to be a guy that's going to explain it to me. Okay, I get it. Instead of being like, well, this is going to be a 12-part series. You're on part 2. Okay, and it's also the binge watching, too. That's hurting things, too, because now you can instantly watch the entire thing in a day, where back in the day you had to wait a week or a month or a year or whatever it was to watch the next one. And to get an answer.
You were a fan of Lost, right?
Absolutely not. No, thank you. No, I'm good. I thank you, but you can have that.
Yeah,
one.
No. So
matter of fact, I went to a viewing party of the final episode, and I actually left halfway through because even though the company was fine, we left because I'm like, I can't sit through this. I don't care.
Yeah. So Lost. Well, the finale is not the one to start at.
Either way, I had no interest in the show, so it was I couldn't do it.
But again, I think it played better watching it week from week rather than binging it. Like when I binged
sometimes it does.
And I will say when I binged it, I think the stories came a little too quick and a little too convenient because something dramatic happens in every single episode, and when you have a week to recover, you have more time to digest it, so it plays off better.
And you can also like rethink it, talk to someone else, like, what do you think happened? Oh crap, I didn't even notice that. It's got to get like The Office. Okay, I watched The Office every episode as it aired. After Michael left and Robert California came in and Nellie, it was so hard to watch. Mm-hmm. I actually hated it. But I'm like, you know what? I need to stick this through, and thank God I did because the last 2 episodes were amazing. Absolutely amazing. But then when you watch it, we watched it. We like 5 episodes at a clip on Netflix. It's not that it goes down much easier when you watch it like 5 at a time because they're not as annoying.
Yeah.
They're not as annoying.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. Binging helps when the shows that you love so much when they take a dip.
Yeah.
You can it's almost like you can rush through that stuff, and it's not as grating. Like I cannot take Nelly, but I will tell you, watching it through the binge shouldn't bother me as much.
No, because it's just like, okay, I have 3 more episodes of this and we're done, and that's with no commercials, and you're watching it all together. It's like, okay, I can sit through this for another 60 minutes. It's not a problem. Yeah. Spider-Man 3, I wanted to leave.
I kind of, yeah. Spider-Man 3 for me, it was entertaining enough. I like Topher Grace, but he was so miscast in that role.
I love Topher Grace. The problem with that movie was the first half was really good. The relationship with Sandman was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, because he wasn't a villain, but he was, and you felt bad, and his effects on him were awesome. And they were really developing that, and it's like, okay, now wait a minute. You like this guy, but we need to put in these other 6 characters which don't belong here. So we're going to just actually kind of like change the channel. And all this other stuff happened. And Venom, the problem with Venom was Eddie Brock, he hated Peter Parker. Because, it was just like, it just had a spite and jealousy, and it was almost like a rival type thing. They never developed that. So it was like, why? He had no reason to hate Peter Parker in the movie. He was just like, I don't like you. And that was it. And
think about how brilliant that movie would have been if they focused just on the Sandman thing, but had like the Venom symbiote kind of being there to play out in the next movie. And let's forget about the second Green Gauntlet altogether.
Yeah, no, I know that, but just say Eddie Brock's in the entire movie. And he's there, and he's always like, Peter Parker's always stepping on his toes, and he's always, things aren't working, and he just keeps getting mad. And at the very end of that movie is Eddie sitting in the church, and he's just sitting there in the bell tower, and then it hits him, and then you see Venom, and it stops. That would have been the best cliffhanger, best tease of all time, and they ruined the whole thing. It was awful. And I remember that movie. The only movie that makes me get more mad at is Civil War. Because Civil War, I absolutely hate that movie. I
really like that movie, but I hate it. I've heard your complaints, and you can kind of lay here, and I don't disagree with your complaints. It still works for me, but go ahead.
No, because the movie didn't make any sense. Because they get to register because they're destroying cities, so they have a play fight at an airport. Like, say I've known you for quite some time. If I'm really mad at you and I'm fighting you, I'm not going to hit you the same way I would hit a stranger who just hurt my family or my daughter. I would want to kill them. I don't want to kill. I would just be mad, like I'm fighting my brother. Like, you just like, obviously I'd pull some punches. I wouldn't hurt you the same way I would want to hurt somebody else. So you get that.
My vision cut a plane in half in the middle of that fight.
And keep in mind, and then the fight ends, and Black Widow's like, just go. We're good. You can go. It's like, what? And then the other point was, the entire time there's this big build-up. I hate when it's anticlimactic. There's a big build-up with the Russian super soldiers.
Yes,
okay? And Zemo. And they're like building that up, and Cap is protecting Bucky, because Cap's like, listen, dude, I know what happened, but it wasn't him. And Tony's going after him. Okay? Now, Tony did not see the video yet, though. So they're all mad. And at the very end, they show the video, and he's just like, you killed my mommy. And he's all upset. If he had saw that at the beginning, and he was like, Cap, I will kill you to get to him. That guy killed my mother. And the entire movie, it was been more real tension. And Cap's like, I need to do the right thing, and I need to stand here and the whole time, and he's about to get to him, and War Machine goes down, and then Stark has to go down and take care of him, and he just gets away. And then finally, he's like, I know where they are. They're in Siberia. I'm going to get up there, and this is it. I'm going to go into these doors, and I'm going to kill this guy. And he opens the doors, and he sees Cap and Bucky getting destroyed by all these super soldiers. And he has to be the better person and step in and save both of them. That would have been more. But no, they get up there, they open the door, he goes, yeah, I killed them all. I just wanted you guys to fight. And he goes outside and sits down. I'm like, this is the worst thing. I wanted to pull my hair out. And Infinity War, I was bored halfway through it. The only part of Infinity War I like is when they're on Titan fighting and they're trying to get the gauntlet off his arm. And then, even though I don't like the character, Thor, when he shows up at the end with the Groot hammer, that was amazing. But the first half of that movie, I could care less about. I was bored out of my mind. That movie is so overrated. I know people hate me for it. I don't really care. I was very, very bored at that movie. I really was. I really, really was.
again, I've been liking what Marvel's been doing. I've been more down on DC movies for my taste. I think that DC keeps misstepping, especially with Justice League, which would have been amazing.
I actually enjoyed Justice League more than Infinity War because...
Oh my God, blasphemy.
I just... It wasn't a good movie, but I enjoyed it. I liked seeing the different characters and stuff like that. I thought Batman's... I wish he never spoke because his lines were awful.
How about the way Cyborg looked? I'm sorry, that looked so bad.
No, listen, it looked like a TV movie. It really did.
But I like how he put on a sweatshirt, but still had the heart thing glowing through the sweatshirt.
It's like E.T. It's like he was E.T., you know?
Like, what is going on?
No, I don't know why. I just didn't hate Justice League.
I felt like walking out of Justice League.
I didn't see it in the theater, though. I saw it on my couch, so maybe that's why.
Batman vs. Superman,
I never saw that. I skipped it.
I could stand most of that. I thought the Doomsday fight at the end was pretty bad, but I never felt like walking out. I will tell you this, and this is what kind of bothered me. Man of Steel, when that movie came out, I was kind of excited.
That was boring. It was very boring.
Yes, Superman's return, and I felt like a lot of it was, again, it's just Zack Snyder trying to do some showboating of cinematography.
Yeah.
And it's cut out the slow motion in a Zack Snyder film, and you got like a 45-minute film. It would be so much better. That being said, I left the theater, and I don't know if you remember watching the very first Superman, but watching it and feeling like inspired.
Well, see, the problem with me in the first Superman is I don't like it. It's not because of the movie. My uncle, when I was over his house, he always had either The Godfather, Superman, or Star Trek, the movie on. And at that time, I was a kid. I wanted to watch like Transformers and G.I. Joe. Yeah. So I was bored. Because he didn't have any toys. I mean, he was very nice to me, and he was an artist, and I loved seeing what he did, but I would be so bored. I didn't want to watch Star Trek. I didn't want to watch Superman. Like, I wanted to watch... Because I wasn't into superheroes when I was little. I didn't get into them until I was, like, 12 years old. When I was little, I didn't want to watch this. I wanted to see, like, He-Man. Excuse me. So I was bored. So I've never been able to give that Superman movies their due, because as an adult, I have not sat down and watched any of them.
Well, my whole purpose of the comment was basically those original Supermans you left, and you almost were like lifted up. You brought out, and you were just like, wow, that was amazing. Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman, you both left the theater kind of on this down note. It was like depressing. See,
Iron Man 1, you didn't. Iron Man 1 was inspiring. Iron Man 1, yes. That movie is such a perfect movie. I rewatched that movie so much when it was first out. I haven't watched it in a long time. I actually want to sit down and actually watch it. That was in the first Avengers. I remember watching it, and I loved it so much. I remember Allie, who was not into superheroes, we saw it, and then I said, I need to see this again, and I was going to go like on a Monday in the afternoon. She called out of work. She never calls out of work. She called out and said she was sick because she's like, I have to see this again. Like, she doesn't see movies again. That movie was just so good. So good. It was so fun, and it just felt so good watching it. And I think it's
far, it's the only Marvel movie that has treated the Hulk correctly.
And he stole that movie. He was perfect in it, and seeing him interact with Thor. I don't think since that movie, I don't think I've seen a movie where I was like blown away, where I had to immediately go see it again. I don't remember the last time I felt like that.
Okay, hey, I know we're on this track. Actually, you talking about all the 80s cartoons and stuff reminded me, you were not a fan of that original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I've never seen it.
You've never seen it, the Jim Henson one.
This is why, and this is why I get really mad at my generation for complaining about when they reboot something, because everything that we grew up on was a reboot. G.I. Joe is a really bad reboot of Real Soldiers. Okay, so if you talk to anybody like in our dad's generation, they're like, yeah, those aren't soldiers. What are those? They're shooting laser beams. They have football jerseys on. They're wearing bright yellow costumes, and they're fighting like a snake guy. Okay, so they had real soldiers. Okay, Transformers are just taken from other toy lines that they picked out of a catalog and renamed them, which I love. And He-Man is basically, okay, we need to make Conan for kids, and that's all that is. And then Ninja Turtles, which I love, is basically just them doing a parody of Daredevil, and as Ninja Turtles, and instead of the hand, they're fighting the foot and whatnot, which I love. And it was dark and gritty. I was blown away by it. And then I see Violet, and the cartoon comes out, and they're saying "Cowabunga, dude," eating pizza, gnarly, and they have all these different colors on. I'm like, what is this? So I didn't like it. And then the movie comes out, and now when they reboot or rechange the Turtles, they're like, that's not how they're supposed to be. And I'm like, listen, nothing's how they're supposed to be, because what you grew up on, it was already rebooted, and I'm not knocking it because it made sense, because obviously it's a business and they want to sell it to kids, and that's what worked. Trust me, if that was my first experience to it, first exposure to it, I would have loved it probably. But it was so different than what I had saw. And I don't know if I could ever, if my kids want to see it, maybe, I don't think I could actually physically sit down and watch those movies.
So here's the thing. So the original Ninja Turtles movie, I was introduced to the Ninja Turtles by the cartoon. So by the time the movie came out, I was just like, they've adapted it amazingly, right?
Which I'm sure they did.
That first one. And again, I thought they did a good job of comic book violence in that movie. And then the second one came out, and one of my best friends loved the Turtles so much, he was like, we gotta go see it. It was The Secret of the Ooze, the one that has Vanilla Ice in the movie. And I remember I literally left the theater to go to the bathroom, and I kind of hung out. Like, I was washing my hands, I took my time, I started walking by the counter to look at all the candy. I didn't want to go back. The movie was that bad. The sequel, and the reason why it got screwed up, I don't know if you even know the history, but parents groups saw the original and the kids playing like the violent toys, and they made this huge fuss. And they were just like, it's too violent, it's too dark, it's everything. And so the movie company, when they were like, oh, well, it's a huge success, so we're going to make a sequel, but you guys can tell us what the problem is, and we won't put that stuff in the movie. And they were like, well, they shouldn't be fighting with dangerous weapons. And they're like, all right. So the Ninja Turtles had the weapons, but they never fought with them. And when it was time to fight, it was a lot of, like more more like the shoving. Like, there was no like punches, no kicks actually thrown. It was so bad. And I remember when we left the theater, I have to get better friends, because the kid was just like, that was awesome, Bebop and Rocksteady. And I was just like, I don't know what to do right now. I don't know what to say to this kid, because this is the worst experience I've had in my life.
Yeah, there's times where I can see that. Like I said, I remember seeing the previews for it, and it just
But we grew up on, Raiders of the Lost Ark, which you watch that movie, and the storytelling is just brilliant from beginning to end. All the Indiana Jones from Temple of Doom, which I know some people are down on Temple of Doom. I still think it's
I love Temple of Doom because that's the one that I grew up on, because it was always on. I didn't see Raiders of the Lost Ark until afterwards, I believe, because Doom was always on. It was during the summer. It was like on. Yeah. And I used to watch it, and I remember being like amazed and kind of freaked out by the heart scene. And it was fun. And my favorite one of all is The Last Crusade. That's my favorite Jones movie.
Yeah, love that one. But then, time goes on. The movie landscape changed when we were just left high school. And the reason why the movie landscape changed is because of one movie, of course, Pulp Fiction.
I remember seeing Pulp Fiction by myself. It was like a Sunday morning. I went to a showing, and there was almost nobody there, and I just remember being just blown away by it.
It changed everything. It changed how people told stories. It changed, because at the time, everybody was kind of focusing on, it was like family kind of affairs. That was like the big movies at those times, like the family comedies. And then Pulp Fiction came along and just blew everything out of the water. And then everything changed. Remember 2 Days in the Valley? It was literally it was almost like a copy of Pulp Fiction. Charlize Theron's, that was her first debut. And the movie's fun. It's good. But you can see that it's like somebody watched Pulp Fiction and was just like, hey, we got to do a movie like this. Like the non-linear, what's it called? Non-linear storytelling, where it kind of jumps from thing to thing.
And not to cut you off, I just finally saw Inglourious Bastards like a few months back. I missed it. I regret not seeing it in the theater. I've watched it like 6 times since. I love that movie.
Yep. Tarantino really doesn't disappoint.
I love that movie.
He's done amazing. But that being said, after Tarantino, of course, there's quite a few movies that you feel like that I felt like just didn't live up to the hype anymore. And I saw a lot of movies in the theater. I saw The Great White Hype. Remember that one with Damon Wayans?
No.
No, he plays a boxer who's the champ, and they're trying to get somebody else to come in and box him. And I think it was Peter Berg that they're trying to get to box him. And they're training him like crazy, and Denzel and Damon Wayans is just kind of like, I'm the champ, I can beat anybody, it's fine. And by the end, he's got like a gut. Damon Wayans gets this gut when he goes to like do the prize fight. And the other guy comes out, and he hits Damon Wayans. And Damon Wayans is like, are you trying to embarrass me? He's like, this is my crowd. He goes over and he just beats the crap out of this white guy, and the guy goes down. In the whole movie, you're sitting there thinking like, the lazy guy is going to lose. No. In the end, Damon Wayans remains the champ. I was like so robbed at the end of this movie. I'm like, I don't know why I just sat here for like 2 hours. like nothing changed in the whole thing. Like he didn't learn a lesson, and the guy that they were training became like obscure again, like he was nothing because he didn't live up to the hype. I was just like, I think I just wasted my time. It was it was a strange time. There was another Peter Berg film called Late for Dinner. Do you remember this movie?
Every time you say Berg, I think of Seinfeld when he gets the tickets from Alec Berg. And he keeps saying Berg, and it's every time you say Berg, I just can't. I'm sorry, I get distracted by it.
It came at a time when they were doing the time travel movies. Do you remember Forever Young with Mel Gibson?
No.
So Mel Gibson gets cryogenically frozen.
Okay.
And then he comes to, and he tries to go find the person, like the woman that he was in love with, and he's starting to rapidly age. By the time that he actually gets to see her at the end, he's an old man and she's an old woman, and they finally get back together. It was not a good movie. Yeah,
it sounded bad. I couldn't wait for you to actually finish talking about it. I'm not the biggest Mel Gibson fan, but I love The Patriot. I'll watch that anytime it's on.
Yeah, well, Late for Dinner was much the same thing. Late for Dinner was a movie where these guys got cryogenically frozen, and when they came out of their pods, they were now in the natural world, but the guy was married, and he went to go see his wife. He was only supposed to be frozen for like a year. They came out, 35 years later. He goes to find his wife, and she's this old woman now, and he's just like, I don't care, I still love you. And she's just like, it's too weird, and I've been through this whole thing, and you don't know what the world's like now. But he has a slow brother. I think back then they could call it semi-retarded, but they don't say that anymore. But Peter Berg played that guy. He played the slow brother, and he was just like, he's kind of following his brother along. That movie, I think I sat through the whole thing, and I think I left the theater going, I saw this movie by myself, by the way. I was the only one in the theater. And I remember leaving the theater just going like, I gotta stop going seeing every movie because I'm seeing a lot of really terrible stuff.
But to be fair, though, back then movies were cheap, so you could go to a movie and you didn't feel like you wasted all this time and money. Now, like you said, you go to a movie, it's like $20, $25 a ticket, and you're like, I don't know if I want to do this.
Yeah, especially because they try to con you into going to see the 3D RPX, big screen. I don't need to see it. I just want to see a movie.
I see. I want to see that, but it has to be like a big movie, like Star Wars, something like that. But if I'm just gonna see a comedy or something, most comedies I don't need to see in the theater. I'd rather see them at home because I think it's very distracting in the theater when you can't really hear everything. But I also do like it when you see everybody laughing. We're almost out of time here, but what are your thoughts, real quick, on episode 8? Because I am in the minority. I love that movie.
What do you mean? What do you mean you're in the minority? Is people not all about episode 8?
Everybody hates episode 8.
I think it was sort of brilliant.
I love that movie. I love that movie. Episode 7, I don't rewatch it as much because it's kind of, I've already seen that movie.
All right, so here's what I thought about episode 7.
It was very safe. It needed to be done because it built that bridge.
I thought it was one of the movies where it really confounded me because it was literally it was a New Hope.
Yes.
But they were like, no, but now it's just bigger. And you're like, okay, but it's still going to get knocked out by this one thing. And I was like, yeah, but it's bigger.
See, the way I look at episode 7 was it was for everybody. It's for us. It was like, okay, here's all the old school characters that you love. They're here, but just so you know, we're going to hold them back, and here is some new guys we're going to push forward, which is fine. I have no problem with that. But right. I don't know why when I watch episode 7, I'm like, yeah, it doesn't do anything for me. You know what I mean? I don't mind watching it. Some of the scenes are cool. Episode 8, I don't know what it is. Listen, there's some of the scenes in episode 8 which are awful, and I wish they would be deleted, but majority of it I love.
What's one of the scenes you want deleted? The Princess Leia going through the air?
That's bad. The part where they're like trying to get to the code breaker. We're on the casino planet. That is really bad.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the casino.
My problem with episode 7 is also a problem with New Hope. Is with BB-8. Everybody wants BB-8. Everybody in the galaxy wants BB-8. Okay, he's a orange soccer ball. Okay, rolling around. They know what he is, so they land in a area where there's people that are like hired to find these characters. And instead of BB-8 like hanging back in the Falcon, he just rolls right through this glorified bar, and instantly everybody's like, "Hey, look at that gold nugget." Like, it doesn't make any sense, but it's the same thing with, like, these aren't the droids you're looking for, and then they go into Cantina. They should have hit, I don't understand, they at least put a tarp over them, you know what I mean? Or, like, spray paint them. Like, change it. You know what I mean? Like, put a different, like, have them dip in silver instead of gold. Like, I know that I give the other ones a pass because we love them so much. But episode 7, it's fine. It's there. 8, I love the Skywalker scenes because Skywalker is just Yoda now. He's just hiding out because that's what Jedis do. If you look at Obi-Wan and Yoda and now Luke,
all become
little hermits. They just sit there and wait to fade away. That's what they do, and that's what he was doing. He just
that scene where he comes out of the base.
Yeah.
And shoot. Then he comes
awesome.
Like walking out, and he just kind of brushes himself up.
Oh, I love that.
That jazzed me up so much. Right?
I know.
Like, oh my god, I can't. And then of course he goes to fight him, realizing he's not even there.
And he's so mad, and it's like, yeah, that's why I did this because you're a big baby. You're like a 17-year-old boy.
Too much of an ego, and now here I brought you down.
Yes, and I love it. So we're gonna finish on that. That episode 8 is a movie I would not walk out of. I loved it, and actually episode 8 I hesitated to see because I didn't get a chance to see it opening weekend, and everybody's saying you're gonna hate it. Don't see it. I almost didn't see it. I said, and then at the last minute I said, no, I have to see this in the theater. I went in there waiting to hate it, and I'm watching it. I'm like, okay, where's there gonna be a part I'm gonna hate? And then the movie ended. I'm like, I love this. What am I gonna hate? And that's why I hate when people are like, oh, you're gonna love this or you're gonna hate this. Most of the time they're wrong.
Well, I think that's what we've learned today. I think we've learned that when everybody loves a movie, you're gonna hate the thing. And when everybody loves a movie, when everybody hates the movie, you're gonna be like,
the problem is I wanted to love Bumblebee. I really did, and I didn't care.
Yeah.
I did not care. I still don't care. And like I said, I would rather see Michael Keaton as an old has-been dad and Lindsay Lohan pre-washed up in a buggy that I want to see Bumblebee.
I never even saw Herbie Loaded or Bumblebee.
It's fully loaded. Herbie Fully Loaded. Get it right there, sir.
Oh, sorry, Herbie Fully Loaded.
I saw it randomly on TBS or something one day, and it wasn't bad.
It's Justin Long's in that, right?
Yeah, I love Justin Long. Whatever happened to him? Justin Long was great. I love Justin Long movies.
Yeah.
Accepted is a very underrated movie. Accepted is fantastic.
Accepted is probably they have so many funny moments in that movie, but like even Seth Rogen Jonah Hill before he became like Jonah Hill is so funny in that movie.
Yeah, it's a fun.
Screams
it's
really
a fun movie. I love that movie. Nobody knows what it is.
South Harmon Institute of Technology. Do you know what that spells?
And the colors are brown. I love it. It's funny. It reminds me of like kind of like Real Genius, that type of humor. I love that stuff.
Oh, Real Genius. That's a great movie.
Yeah, man. Val Kilmer with Top Secret and Real Genius was awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, when Val Kilmer was in that, like, remember Hot Shots?
Yeah.
Oh, that Val Kilmer, I want to hang out with.
Yeah, not
the new one. The Val Kilmer now.
So, well, Ryan, thank you for joining me on this episode of the Zapp Comics Radio Podcast. I do appreciate it.
Anytime, my friend.
And we'll do this again. And if I don't talk to you, I'm sure I will. I will see you at ZappCon in a few weeks.
Very excited about it.
All right, buddy. Be good, all right?
Later.
Bye. Bye, guys.